guys, today's Friday, so it's time to do my Friday reads. My Friday reads, which is telling you what I've read, what I am currently reading, and what I plan to be reading for the next week. The first book that I finished was Expelled by Cornelia funke, which is hard for me to say, so I'll just say funk. This was absolutely amazing. The end pretty much killed me. Can't say much about it because obviously it's the second in the Hat trilogy. This book goes so much more in depth than the first book, and there's new characters and you detest them. I'm talking, ooh, you really, really, really hate them. The original cast of characters is still there, and one of the bad guys from the first book, and you really, really want to hurt him. Oh, so badly. But this book was absolutely amazing. I loved it, and I really think everyone should read this trilogy. It's so good. The next one I finished was My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodie Meadows. This is a Ready Set Read book club pick for the month of October. We are doing our live show on Sunday, the 30th of October, which is interesting for me because it's daylight savings time and our clocks go back. So it will be 9 p.m. when the live show is on for Greenwich Mean Time. I will leave a link in my down bar for world clock so you can check what time it will be in your time zone if you are wanting to join us for the live show. And by us, I mean Brandy from I Ramble Randomly and Christy from What's Christy Reading. All links about the Ready Set Read live show and our Goodreads page and all that good stuff will be down in the information box below. So now I've said all that, I'm kind of out of breath. As you'll see, I was tabbing this book and I gave up tabbing it around chapter 3 because if I didn't, I would have run out of tabs and this whole book would have just been covered in tabs. This story was so funny. I really hope they continue to rewrite history in this manner. It was so good. I think it was amazing. The way that they have interwoven what actually happened to Lady Jane Grey and the history of what happened in the Tudor times was really, really great. They managed to interweave fact and fiction in such a wonderfully rich way. I don't want to say too much about this because obviously I'm wanting to talk about it when we do our live show, but even if you can't join us, it is a book I suggest everyone read because it is hilarious. The next book I finished was Blankets by Craig Thompson. The artwork in this book is so simple and beautiful. It just added a whole new level to the story that was told. I gave this book 3 stars because I had some kind of issues with the content of this book. I don't want to go fully into it and spoil you, but it's a story about Craig's first love, and it is done in such a beautiful way, but there are other parts of the story that weren't really my bag, should I say. There's a heavy focus on religion, which I'm guessing was really important to Craig in his younger years, and it's important with his family. The way that progresses throughout the book was a little... it wasn't interesting, it wasn't jarring, it was... I really can't say because it would ruin it. But there's some parts of the story that I didn't like at all. It is a good book, it just wasn't for me personally. Then I finished The Accident Season by Moira Fowley Doyle. I really enjoyed this one. It was good and creepy. Obviously there is a mystery behind The Accident Season and my brain automatically tries to figure out any type of mystery. I can't control it. It's really, really strange. If me and Chris are sat there watching a murder mystery TV, kind of like Castle or Bones, I can just sit there, point to a person and say they did it. With no reference of backstory or anything, I can just tell that they did it. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right. And it really, really bugs Chris no end. So whenever there's a mystery, my brain just tries to figure it out automatically. And when me and Christy were talking, she was like, don't overthink it, just don't try to figure it out, just enjoy the story. And I have to say, that was really easy for me to do with this book because it's really creepy and a perfect Halloween read, just saying. This book, it follows Kara and her family who have horrific accidents throughout the month of October. And as October progresses, the accidents get sufficiently worse and worse. So from bumps and bruises, cuts, sprains, broken bones, to deaths. And finding out why the accident season happens and all the twists and turns and ins and outs of what happens within the family and their relationships with each other and other people was very, very interesting. And I didn't quite figure out what was happening until a couple of chapters before it was revealed. So I'm quite proud of myself for that aspect, but it was done so well. It's not predictable at all. Looking back on it, there was definite foreshadowing, but it was so subtle. It was just done so well, and I suggest everyone go read it because I really, really liked it. They're all the books that I managed to finish this week. So I'm going to show you what I'm currently reading. I'm only currently reading one book. Can you guess what it is? Can you? I'm reading Ink Death by Cornelia Funke. This is so good. With what happened in Expelled and what's currently happening in this, I would love to be read into this book just so I could bitch slap so many characters. They really, really need a good slap upside the head. And there's one person that I really want to punch in the face. If you've read this trilogy, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I am part of the way through. It's just as enthralling and intriguing as Inkspell. I need to finish this book really, really soon because obviously Inkspell kind of broke me and I need a little bit of resolution from that, and I hope it happens in this. Last week I mentioned that Christy and myself didn't pick a book to read this week because we both needed to finish My Lady Jane, and we said that we would read Gemena by Amy Kaufman and J. Christoph. Yes, it arrived! Woohoo! I just did a book haul where I actually unboxed this, which will probably be up after this video, but whatevs. We did say that we would start Gemena, but Christy's taking part in another book club, and their chosen book is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabata Tahir. Sorry for the horrible pronunciation. I've already read this book and it didn't grip me like it has done with the rest of Book 2 Bland. I don't know if it was because I listened to it on audio and I was busy doing other things while I was listening to it. It was at the time where my new shelves were getting built and I was happily reorganising all the books while I was listening to it, so my focus wasn't fully on the book. If anyone's reorganised a bookshelf, you know how in-depth it can go. But rather than me and Christy not reading a book together, we both decided to read An Ember in the Ashes so she can take part in her book club, and it obviously gives me that extra push to reread it. That was like 20 minutes of talking just to say, we're reading this one. So, it's time to pick from my unread bookshelf challenge jar. We shall see if I've read any of these. Whoop. Okay, that one just fell out, so we'll have this one. Come on. There we go. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. Guess what? I've already read this one. Ching. Next pick. Don't judge me. I can feel the judgment. Please stop. I don't like it. Okay, got this one. Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I have not read this, so I am happy to start the series. The movie was pants, but it had good parts in it. Mainly the dragon and Jeremy Irons. I love that guy. But I'm excited to read this book, and then obviously I will continue on. I think I should pick another book though. Hello. This one jumped out at me, so I'll choose this one. Place your bets now. Has she read it? Has she not? Drum roll, please. I have not read it, and it is Heatwave by Richard Castle. It's just a little short book. This is very meta because obviously in the show Castle, Nathan Fillion plays a writer, Richard Castle, and basically he becomes a part of the NYC police force. He follows around a few detectives. One main detective is his muse for this set of books, and I'm happy that I picked it because it is one that I've wanted to read for a while, but I just bought it and then let it sit on a shelf, as I do with most things. How many's left in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And how many of these 6 have I actually read? This one. Everything by Nicola Yoon. I've already read this one. Down to 5. Okay. Mouse by Art Spiegelman. Obviously another graphic novel. I have no idea what this book is about. It's got something to do with mice and Nazis. I don't know the full ins and outs about it, but why are you laughing?
Got something to do with mice and Nazis. Sorry, it was just...
A lot of people have read this graphic novel and they loved it, so it's time for me to read it and see what it's all about. And then obviously look back at this Friday Reads and laugh at myself of how dumb my description of this book was. So yeah. That is all of what I'm planning to read. If you like this video, don't forget to give it that all important thumb. Comment down below, tell me what you think of my picks. And if you have read any of the books that have been mentioned in this video, I'd love to know your thoughts about them. As always, the t-shirt I'm wearing today is this one. Just to prove that I'm actually wearing it. Because you can't see it in frame. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye! Ember in the Ash. That was a long description. Huh?
It's right there.
It's not right there. It's right there.
That's where I pointed.
That's technically. Ouch! But obviously I had Nathan Fillion coming up my face. Chris is annoyed at me because he's had to get up from watching Star Trek and now he's got to go find Mouse, which is on the other set of shelves. Is this the is this the complete version? And it says it at the top. The complete Mouse. Your thought.